What's going on, guys? Cedar here, and today I'll be reviewing Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. The coaster, the B&M Wind Coaster that Cedar Point added in 2013 as a new ride to revamp the whole front entrance and how Cedar Point looks to the front. So what I'll be doing today is be talking about this coaster, giving you my in-depth thoughts and every single thing I like about it, and just giving you my full review. So of course, this coaster is located at Cedar Point and is made by B&M. It's a B&M Wind Coaster. It is 170 feet tall, pretty tall for a wind coaster actually, because most wind coasters aren't too tall. But comparing this one to a lot of the other ones, it's pretty tall, and 67 miles per hour goes with the height. It's faster than some other B&M wind coasters. It has 6 inversions, and it is 4,164 feet long. Now, there are some parts on this coaster that really just, like some elements, that really just feel like, why is that element right there? I mean, take for instance, one of the, after the first drop, you're going to go through this, big airtime hill, which you aren't going to get any airtime at all, which is, I would say they could have done a better element there, maybe like an inversion. You definitely don't get that much airtime at all, especially since you're in the vest restraints. So that is one of the cons about this coaster. And of course, the helix at the end, it really just makes it a bad ending. I don't know. For some helixes, they're better than others on the endings, but this one I would just say is probably one of the worst endings ever. But it would be nice if they could do a really cool inversion. But one of the things that is really cool about this ride, it has a lot of close-up elements where you get really close to structures, like in the front. So it goes over the entrance, and it's gonna go right through these 2 keyholes, which looks really good. One of the best front. It makes it one of the best front entrances ever with its keyholes. It is a very good near miss element, one of the best ever. X-Flight is there with it on its near miss element, but this is just a really good element. It goes through it 2 times on 2 0G rolls, and that's a really nice element. Some really nice elements. I would say probably the best part of the ride. What I'll be doing right now is be going from when you leave the station, and from when you hit the brakes, and telling you how good each element is. So you're gonna leave the station, and you're gonna go up this 170-foot lift hill. Like I said, the height is pretty tall compared to most B&M wind coasters. And you're gonna go up. You're gonna get some great views of Cedar Point. Near the entrance, but most of it is just parking lot, so you get the best view ever of the parking lot. And then you're gonna go down, and you're gonna go just to hit to start this coaster off with a bang. You're gonna go off with an inversion as the drop, and then you're gonna go through an Immelman, which it's just walking on the beach. Seeing Gatekeeper with this element just looks. With these 2 inversions, just make it look insane. This coaster looks really good from all around. That's one of the things that Cedar Point hit it out with the park with. And the color scheme of this coaster, just fits perfect with Cedar Point. And then you're gonna, like I said, it's the most pointless part of the ride. You're gonna go through this airtime hill where you don't get any airtime, just because of the vest restraints, which the vest restraints definitely do tighten. They definitely do tighten near the end. You really, at the end where you're sitting on the brake run, it really just does feel like you are being choked to death or just being crushed in them. And that it doesn't really feel like that during the ride, but when you're just experiencing that on the brake run, it really is not a good experience. So then you're gonna go through a really good element. You're gonna go through this massive 0G roll. It is probably the most average inversion out of all of them, and probably the one you see most on coasters out of all of them. But it definitely is a good element. And then you're gonna go down and go through the first of the 2 inversions that go through the keyholes. This one is taller than the other one. Of course, it goes right over the entrance, which is really good and really cool. and then you're gonna go it's probably the best part of the ride, like I said earlier. And then you're gonna go through this dive loop, pretty nice inversion, solid. You're gonna but like that's probably the inversion that people think about the least, just because is just right after those two key, like right after and before the keyhole elements, which just makes it overshadowed, but it still is a good element. And you're gonna go through the second of the 2 0G rolls through the keyholes, and I mean, I thought I would say the first one is better, but the second one is still good. And then you're gonna hit the brake run. Of course, like everybody hates brake runs, including me on coasters. But sometimes I just don't get it why they have brake runs, because you could still continue with the speed. But then you're gonna go through a helix, the worst ending to this ride that could possibly be, and then hit the brakes. So this coaster is a very solid coaster. Actually one of my favorite coasters at Cedar Point. Definitely do hit it out if you're going to Cedar Point. So yeah, it's time for its overall score. I'm gonna be giving it an 8 out of 10. It's a very solid coaster. I mean, definitely do ride it at Cedar Point. I would say, since the lines do get long sometimes, ride it is the first coaster of the day. So hope you guys enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for more videos coming here to Coaster Productions, and I'll see you guys later.